What's up YouTube? How are you doing today? Shoutout, your techno dad here, and in today's video I'm going to be giving you my 3-month review of the Denon AVR-X3600H AV receiver. We're going to check it out right after the jump. Today's video is sponsored by PSB Speakers. In 1972, Paul Barton started building speakers in a small rural Canadian town and is responsible for the development of the Canadian sound, a sound that would accurately deliver dynamic, neutral acoustics. From the affordable Alpha line to the higher-end Imagine line, architectural speakers and headphones, they have lots of options to give you that open and natural Canadian sound. Go to PSB's website to check out their products, and in the month of April, get 15% off your next purchase with free shipping and a 60-day money-back guarantee, so make sure to go check out PSB speakers at the link below. And I'm back. Now, before I begin, I want to give a big shout out and thank you to the good folks at Denon for sending this AVR in for me to review. Thank you guys so much. Now, if you haven't seen the unboxing and Atmos setup, the how to connect an external amplifier setup, or the how to set up 4K HDR on this AV receiver, I will put a link to that playlist down in the description and with the card on top for you guys still trying to make your mind up about this AVR. You guys can check out the list of videos that I've made using this AV receiver. Now, as far as daily viewing, this AVR is in the living room and it's pretty much handling all TV and everything entertainment wise going on in the house, whether I'm streaming Tidal MQA into the Blue Sound Node 2i and that's going into the Denon, or we're watching from DirecTV box, or we're watching from the LG OLED and we're sending the Atmos signal via ARC down to the Denon, or I'm watching a movie on either the Oppo 203 or the Panasonic UB9000, that's all going through the Denon. And of course there's a Roku, there's Apple TV, there's an Xbox, all plugged in there. And I did have a PlayStation 4 plugged in because I wanted to see how good Final Fantasy VII Remake looked on the OLED, of course, with awesome sound. So it's being used a lot, and during this quarantine period, it's being used even more. So like my wife does like a workout that's on OpenFit app on Roku, and that's all going through the Denon, obviously, and then to the TV. So she's doing a workout there. So the TV's pretty much on almost all day. And so the Denon's been handling it without issue. So as far as speakers, I've had the AVR Power 9 speakers, whether they were the Martin Logans or the ELACs or the Klipsch, it handled them without issue. And when I'm running the Martin Logans, it's, you know, 2 6-ohm speakers, 2 5-ohm speakers, a 4-ohm speaker, and then 4 8-ohm speakers. And, you know, we had this running all day long without issue. No excessive heat. I know a lot of people talk about Denons and their heat. I didn't notice any heat running all of the speakers off the AVR itself. I put the ELACs, I got the center channel for the new debut reference. So I had the ELAC front stage with the, you know, surrounds are still the Martin Logans, and of course the prime elevation speakers are the SVS. And I also popped the RF7-3s back into place along with the RC64-3. And with all 3 speaker configurations, I felt like this AVR did a great job of handling it. So if you don't want to, you know, add an amplifier, you don't really need to, especially depending on how big your space is. My space, pretty big, 4,200 cubic feet. So I did add a power amplifier, a couple of them actually. I checked out the X9 from Monolith, which is a 9-channel power amplifier. That worked out very well. And I currently have 2 Parasound 5-channel amps connected to the X3600H. Now, if you are going this route, you want to make sure that at least one of your 2 5-channel amplifiers, or how many ever channel amplifiers, have an in and out trigger, because the X3600H only has 1 trigger output. Now, compared to its you know, older sibling, the X4500H, that has 2. So that would have worked just fine. But the Parasound A51 only has an input. Luckily, the A52 Plus has an in and an out, so I was able to go trigger out from the X3600 to the A52 Plus, then back into the A51. So it all works and we're good to go. But just make sure if you're going to do multiple amplifiers using this AVR, you're going to need to make sure that at least one of them has an in-out loop. There are some new cool features on the X3600H that you won't find on the X4500H. One of them is the auto naming of your digital sources that are coming in through HDMI. I think this is actually pretty cool. So basically you plug in all your HDMI like you normally would, and when you have that source on or you switch to a source, it'll identify what that is, whether it's STB for your set-top box, that was the DirecTV box, or the Oppo 203, or the Xbox One. This one says living room, and that is because I named this Apple TV the living room one because there's also a bedroom one. And then we have Roku and the Panasonic player, that's the UB9000. So I think that's pretty cool. Like, I didn't have to name any of those things and it picked it up perfectly. And no matter what you plug into, Roku into media player, and the Apple TVs into Blu-ray, and the Oppo 203 is in DVD. Now I don't have to write that all down and then change everything myself. It automatically does it. I think that's a cool feature, and I can't wait for that to get into more Denon AVRs. Now, one of the biggest features that the new 600 range of Denon AVRs and the new 14 range of Marantz AVRs has been this Dolby Atmos height virtualization. So I went and downloaded it, and basically what it does, or what it seemed to do, is add a virtual height zone for a 5.1 setup. So originally I went through and I just turned off my height channels and made sure I had 5.1. I also had to make sure I was on the latest firmware. I don't know the number, it was just the latest one. I updated it like a few days ago. So if you update or have auto update on, you should probably already have it. Now, to turn on height virtualization, you have to press one of the color buttons on the remote. And as you can see here, down at the bottom, we get something that says virtual. Now, when we turn on virtual and run a movie and press info, we can see it says it's coming in as Dolby audio, and as the output, you can see it's bumped everything down to a 2.1. So just the front left, front right, and subwoofer. So I put on my favorite Dolby Atmos demo, that is Audiosphere. I believe it's on the 2016 Dolby Atmos demo disc. I've got this stuff all ripped onto my hard drive, so I just play it from the Oppo 203. And of course I play these back to back, turned virtual off, went back to Dolby Atmos, turned on my height speakers. So I guess the big question you want to know is, Technodad, what's it all about? Does it sound good? Do you like it? And the answer is, I don't like it. It actually doesn't really do what it's saying, at least to me. I could not notice those little diamonds going like the little sparkle things. If you guys have ever seen that demo, that's what's happening. And it did not feel like those things were overhead. I would switch it back to Dolby Atmos and make sure everything's on, and that's a totally different experience. So I don't know about this whole height virtualization thing. I know one of the comments a couple of weeks ago was asking me to check it out, and if that is a big factor in why you're getting the AVR, I would not make that the biggest factor of getting this AVR. I'm not sure if they just want to put features in, but I wasn't getting that great of an experience when it's just bumped down to virtual and it's a 2.1. So I don't know if I'm doing it wrong, because it's really not explained anywhere in the manual, but I'm pretty sure this is what's going on, and I don't really hear that big of a difference than when I'm just watching it in stereo. Like, I put it on to stereo and it sounded the same. So I don't really know if it's working, but it's set to virtual, and according to the manual, it's on by default after the firmware updates. So let's just be straight and clear here. That should not be the reason that you buy this AVR. You should buy this AVR because you tried Atmos, or you have a friend that has Atmos and you have a 5.1 and you want to get something you can grow into. Maybe you don't have enough space. Like right now, I don't have space for surround back, so I wouldn't put surround back. But if I move, yeah, maybe I want some surround back then. But that's the thing. You can actually grow into this AVR, get it on sale at a good price, or just go ahead and buy it now. Links are obviously in the description. And it's going to be the way to go. I think it's probably one of the best AVRs that came out last year. It's going to go run through 2020. There still is no word on updates for the X4500H or the X6500H. I have no idea what's going on for 2020 as far as Denon is concerned. Every time I ask or playfully say, hey, when's the X6600 coming out or the 8600 coming out, they just laugh and they're like, no. So either they're not telling me or they're not even working on it. Other new features like auto low latency mode works out really well. Every time I jump into a game of Call of Duty, I see it say on my LG OLED that it's put into game mode. It says like auto game mode activated or response mode, something like that. And I double check and it's put it into HDR game mode. So that's cool. That works. As far as HDCP 2.3, really no way to test that as we don't have any like newer devices. Everybody's probably wondering about eARC as opposed to ARC, and I haven't heard about any streaming services actually supporting eARC, even though the AVRs and TVs do support it, like my LG OLED does. But I don't think any streaming services are actually putting out a lossless audio in the stream. But if you guys know of any, let me know. I'd love to check it out. Because, you know, it's all these things are kind of changing and being implemented and then taken away and fixed and then implemented again. So let's see. It's just kind of like a waiting game with all this technology stuff. Overall, I think this is one of the best AVRs out right now at a little bit of a premium price, over $1,000. But again, you can find it on sale now and again for $900. Some people have got it for $800. I know some viewers have told me about the deals they got. So just keep looking, and as always, like sometimes it is good to wait, you know, wait another 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 1 month to see if it does go on sale, because they do go on sale. And in fact, I saw the Denon X4500H down to $1,000 while the X3600H was $1,100. So, you know, things change. And then I totally posted about it on Facebook, and then literally the next day the X4500H price went back up to $1,600. So, you know, it's really volatile what's going on Amazon these days. So just kind of keep checking on it and see what happens. Who knows, you might get it at a smoking deal. I would highly recommend this AVR for anybody that is wanting to upgrade to Atmos finally and they want something they can grow into. Start off with their 5.1, get the AVR, wait, get some speakers while money allows. Or if you're spending your guys's stimulus check, hey, maybe you can get a pair of Atmos height channels and the AVR at the same time, whatever. I'll put links to all that down in the description. And again, big shout out and thank you to Denon for sending this AVR in for review. Thank you guys so much. You guys made a winner here. Love it. Awesome. Now, if you guys at home have any questions about this or anything else, let me know down in the comments or hit me up on social or email, whichever you like to use. Now, that's pretty much it for this video. Go ahead, smash that like button, subscribe to the channel using the button in the middle of your screen. And once again, my name is Chana D. I'm your Techno Dad, and I'll see you next time.